Good evening, everybody. We are going to start the evening by going into executive session this evening to review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, subsection 1, paragraph G. Executive sessions are closed to the public pursuant to state law. We will convene into executive session at 6:01 p.m. for about an hour, and we invite City Manager Pingle to join the executive session, and we will return to chambers at 7 p.m. for our regular meeting. After the executive session, the council will reconvene and may take action.
Executive session will be extended until 7:05.
Start. Jane, can you hear us? I can, but you're in the little speakers.
Don't worry, I'm a loud talker.
Okay. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Does that pick up for you guys? Try one more time.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Okay. I just have to hold the speaker up to
Okay.
the mic. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. It is 7:05 and the council just returned from executive session where no action was taken. So now we're going to start our regular meeting. Thank you all for being here. I am officially calling this meeting as Newcastle City Council to order at 7:05 p.m. Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. My name is Mayor Ariana Sherlock. This meeting is being streamed live and recorded on our YouTube channel, the city's YouTube channel, for future viewing. Thank you all for being here. There are 2 public comment periods during our regular meetings, so if you are wanting to speak, please make sure to sign up on the sheets. There's one for each period. The sign-up sheet for the second period near the end of the meeting will remain available until we get to that part of the agenda. So please sign up if you decide to make public comment. And with that, will you please rise and join me in the flag salute? City Manager, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Burford.
Here.
Councilmember Griffin.
Here.
Councilmember Villasenor. Here. Councilmember Blakely.
Present.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Here.
Mayor Sherlock.
Here.
All here, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, next item is approval of tonight's agenda. Are there any requested changes or additions from council members? Councilmember Jacobs.
I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda, an agenda item to the general business to discuss concerning the city manager's salary.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to add to the agenda general business 12.3 to discuss the city manager's salary. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So we will add 12.3 to the general business section. Okay, are there any other additions or changes to the agenda? Seeing none, please show the agenda approved as amended. We will now open our first public comment period. Thank you. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the council. When you come to the podium, please state your name and neighborhood for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. So with that, do we have anybody signed up online? Nope. Okay. Then I will go to my list here. First on my list is Joe Hughes. And there's a button at the bottom of the mic that turns it on when you see the red light. You're good to go.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is my second time addressing the council. First time was about a year ago, I think, when the city adopted the new ADU laws that the state of Washington had put into effect. At that time, my topic was setbacks for ADUs and how they affected our plans for putting an ADU on our property. Those were reviewed, addressed, and actually changed to help facilitate an ADU being put on our property. So we went forward with that process. We're now dealing with an architect. We have a site plan put together, and we're running into a little hiccup with the current impervious requirements and allowables in the code that were put into place as part of the original property and building codes back in Lord knows when. And we've seen as part of the statewide ADU adoption in other cities, a relaxation in that impervious calculation to help facilitate ADUs. Currently, what we're running into now is we can make it work. We can make our planned ADU work by removing some impervious structure or components, building the ADU, and then at that point, we would have an approved ADU on our property. And then, as far as we can tell, putting back in a shed or a patio would not be an issue with the city at that point. And so we're hoping maybe some consideration can be put into relaxing ADU impervious calculations so those hoops don't have to be gone through, that it can be seen that at a given point that the impervious calculation for ADUs could possibly be adopted to be more flexible. So that's why I was here tonight. If that makes sense to anybody and you guys understand? Yeah, okay, good.
Thank you.
I understand you guys won't be asking me a bunch of questions, right? Good.
Yeah, yeah, public comment is kind of
Just that.
one way.
Perfect.
All right, next on my list is Peggy Price.
Okay, Peggy Price, live in Windtree, and I'm talking about something right in our neighborhood. May Creek Trail going over the embankment that is to be removed over Newport Hills Creek. And I'm hoping that we can have some kind of time linkage between replacement, well, between the removal of the embankment and replacement of the May Creek Trail over it. Because of course, right now it runs over the embankment. It should be strong enough to carry both horses, and ideally for the guys in Public Works, some vehicle that they can take out there for maintenance. Hopefully that'll work. The funding sources are different, whether they should have been originally or not. So that makes it a little harder. It'd be great to have the bridge built as soon as the embankment is removed. And keeping the bridge abutments in mind during the removal. There should be some kind of design there so that they can accommodate it without having to go back retroactively. I would think that'd be a little less expensive. There's a half mile detour on sidewalks. And I gave you the map that shows the sidewalks in blue. A half mile detour is a long detour, especially just on sidewalks when everybody wants a trail experience. So I'm hoping we can figure that out, how to get that done without too much disruption of the people trying to take the trail. If prior to construction, we could put a marked road crossing across May Creek Park Drive east of Barkstrom Station, where there isn't one right now, that would be a lot safer for people to take that detour, because they will have to cross May Creek Park Drive to get from the sidewalk to the trail. Trail signs would be real helpful as well, because otherwise people don't know where they're going. And that's pretty much it. It's going to be requiring a major accommodation by users, so we want to shorten that length of time as much as possible. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Peggy. Okay, that's everyone on my list, so we will close the first public comment period. Moving on, there are no ceremonial presentations this evening, so we will go to our council comments. Councilmember Burford, why don't you start us off?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to, thank everyone for joining our council meeting. Today we have a longer session for the council, and I also like to take this opportunity to give a shout out for once again Newcastle Arts Council hosted its 6th annual Newcastle Arts Fair on July 18th. It was once again a huge success. And we really, I was there pretty much, from morning to the afternoon. Saw so many people from our community, and also the Newcastle Trails with Peggy, and volunteers and our city tables, and just really wonderful to see our city. This is a huge public community engagement event. It has become our annual tradition. I just want to give a shout out to the organizers, the vendors, the artists, and the residents who joined us at the event. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Griffin?
No comment.
Councilmember Vilson-Jorn?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. We've had a chance to see Newcastle in the spotlight this year, from World Cup soccer players using our golf course to the Seahawks featuring our city on Hard Knocks. In fact, we might have to make signage that reads Newcastle, home of Derek Hall's truck. I mean, we might be considering that. Concerts have been really well attended, not only by residents, by people in our region, which is always great, and I'm looking forward to Newcastle Days. And for our parents with kids at home, hang in there. School is on the way, so enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you.
Councilmember Frost Blakely.
I haven't watched any of the Seahawks programming, so I guess I'll be prompting you for updates, Chris. That's very exciting news. I just wanted to say Newcastle also put on a great night out evening on the 4th. I really enjoyed visiting. I think I got around to 6 or 7 of the different neighborhood get-togethers, and there was a wide range of activities. There was amazing food. There's some very talented chefs out there. And in spite of some of the smoke, people were having a wonderful time, and I appreciated the opportunity to talk with residents and appreciated their hospitality. So thanks for letting me stop on by.
Councilmember Jacobs.
Last as always. Welcome everybody online and in person here. I just want to give a shout out again, as usual, to our awesome staff here in Newcastle. For those of you who got to go to the concerts in the park, they were excellent in spite of the smoke at some point. And just continue to do the great work that you guys do, and looking forward to Newcastle Days next month.
Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Thank you. Welcome back to the DICE, Director Chambers. Good to see you here in the chambers. Yeah, Councilmember Villasenor stole my thunder. I was enjoying watching, live visuals of stopping at the, the espresso stop at on the corner, sort of near between Hazelwood and Exit 9. I hope folks are going to enjoy the trails and parks out during the summer. Some of the best times to enjoy them. I'm really encouraged to see our Hazelwood Boardwalk project taking place and taking way, as well as a lot of these other great capital projects we're hear about tonight to improve the city and sort of the usability for us all as residents. And I hope folks will continue to engage with all these wonderful things in our really vast trail system that I think folks don't realize quite how deep and complex it actually is. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, for me tonight, just wanted to echo the huge thank you to all the staff. I'm gonna say some names: Chris Dougherty, Amy George, Connor Simonson, all the maintenance crew, along with Commissioner Van Atta, and a lot of the CSE members, plus all the additional volunteers. Just the summer concert series was really wonderful. Had a great food trucks and just lots of fun, people dancing, and I saw the chief out there dancing. Is he here? He's usually here. Anyway, I had a blast. And, oh, he's on vacation, that's right. So thank you to everybody. Both the Fiscal Sustainability Task Force and the Downtown Activation Committee have each met. They've each had their first meetings that were successful. We're looking forward to hearing about their progress, but I'm really pleased with the people that are there and all the feedback that they're giving. I think it's going to be very beneficial to the city with both of those committees. So with that, we're going to move on to our next report, which is from our new Public Works Director, Kevin Anderson, is going to give us a Q2 Capital Improvement Projects report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My intent tonight was not to go through this report line by line, but just to give a broad overview. It was formatted in the same format as my predecessor, Josh, had developed it, designed to give you a very quick snapshot of what's going on, what projects are starting to go off the rails, which ones are falling behind schedule, are over budget, that kind of a thing. So with that in mind, I just wanted to say, of the 25 projects we have on the list, 10 for transportation, 9 for parks, 6 on surface water management. None of the statuses, none of the project health, if you will, have changed. All of them, except for 4, are still in the green. There are 4 projects that are not in green. 3 of them are in the parks division, and those 3 projects have not been started. So they reflect those colors that are not green just because they've moved around on the CIP. So 2 projects on the Lakeborn Park, the dog park and the amphitheater have been moved to a non-funded status. The May Creek Trail Bridge was pushed out because of some coordination issues with Renton. The one project that is not green that has begun is a surface water management project, that being the storm conveyance rehab program, and we described what the issues were there some 6 weeks ago, that we just aren't getting the progress done this year that we were expecting, just based on some additional costs unanticipated related to traffic control. So we're pushing that out a bit without changing the budget. So happy to answer any individual project questions or any questions at all on that.
Any questions from council? I know it's what I expected, so thank you. I think we all made the decision to push out the 2 in red, so it's not a surprise to any of us.
Yes.
But appreciate the update, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, moving on to council committee reports. Are there any committees to report? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. So on July 31st, we had a meeting of the Economic and Community Development Committee. We had a couple members from ARCH, a regional coalition for housing, attend, and they were really great supporters and great resources of information for us. So we went through a couple different sites of city-owned land, what they're currently zoned, what different opportunities look like with those pieces of city-owned land. So we're currently, won't get too deep in the process, but we're currently continuing to go through that process, and ARCH expressed a really strong willingness to come sort of meet with us all as a city council when the time is appropriate to do that. We've been going through steps earlier this year with the sort of the policies for disbursement of city-owned land that we all approved, and just wanted to flag this for folks as we continue to move forward on that, and that this will be something coming down the line. But we talked through a lot of great options. Big thank you to Councilmember Frost Blakely for a really robust dialogue on all that, and I'm excited to sort of bring those projects back around to the whole council.
Thank you. Any other committee? Councilmember Burford?
Yeah, so our community engagement council committee, we had a meeting yesterday. The agenda we talk about, we finalized actually the proclamation calendars, and we also discuss about our upcoming town hall items and format, and that's pretty much what we discussed. We will be meeting next time on September 2nd, the first Wednesday. Yeah, thank you.
Any other committees? Councilmember Frost Blakely?
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on July 23rd. And again, we were very pleased to see that the city for this year is in good fiscal shape. And in fact, for those of you in the audience who don't know, Newcastle does put its, we'll call it idle funds to work. I believe, Director Lindsay, you put this into place, didn't you? Putting together the LGIP and the SMA. Yes, thank you very much. So public may not know that our idle money made a little over $77,000 just in June. So we're doing our best to be fiscally responsible with every dollar that we receive from the community. And again, you are all welcome to our next meeting, which will be on the 27th of August here at City Hall. Happy to give you even more details on our fiscal status here at the city. And I do echo our mayor's comments on the Fiscal Sustainability Committee meeting. The initial meeting was very engaging. It did run long, wasn't it about 3 hours? I think a little over 2, though. Okay. Terrific team of community volunteers, and really looking forward to seeing the ideas that come forth out of that committee in the future.
Thank you. Any other council committees that have met? All right, moving on to regional committee reports, if there are any. Councilmember Frost?
So I attended the Port of Seattle tour on August 5th, which was very educational. It was fun to be out in the water. They took us on Argosy cruise to look at the Port of Seattle facilities there in the harbor, and then took us up the Duwamish River, where we got quite an education on not only the facilities there, but also the restoration of the natural beach and the salmon habitat that they're working on there. And some of the creative ideas that they're coming up with were really encouraging to hear. So it was a wonderful evening. And it sounds like an annual event, so for those of you who have not attended, I hope you're able to join them next year.
Councilmember Burford?
Yeah, I joined the Regional Salmon Recovery Council face-to-face meeting in Maple Valley, and then followed by a tour of recovering salmon recovery project, along with a lot of fellow council members and the city public work employees. It was really informative and educational to see firsthand. They work so hard to provide natural resources for our salmon. And that was one. And this was last month. Also, I attended SCA, Sun City Association, just meet and connect that night with a lot of I think the Greater Puget Sound, because Sound City Association, the Seattle Partners, Greater Seattle Partner CEO, Shannon, former our King County executive, gave she was the keynote speaker, and it was quite, she said she's willing to partner with everyone, including, cities. I actually asked specific questions. I said, because she mentioned about the big cities' names, I said, what about the small cities like Newcastle? And she said, oh, of course. So our bedroom community, and we can also do our part to seek how we can partner together. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Any other regional committees? Okay. Any commission reports from our commission liaisons?
I attended the Planning Commission meeting on July 22nd, and won't give you, if you want to hear what went on there, I recommend you take a look at the agenda. The next Planning Commission meeting is August 26th, and I would encourage people who have suggestions on changes in code. That would be a great place to come and visit us and present. We do have public speaking opportunities at that commission as well.
Councilmember Burford?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to add, I also had a great opportunity. I attended the annual King County Substance Use Annual Conference. Supported and initiated by King County Council Member Regan Dunn, which is also our region. The location was in Renton at the Renton Community College. I got to really, for me, is to be there to listen, to learn about this important issue, and because I got to hear those panelists. And they shared how they went through the recovery journey. And it's a lot of information. If you are interested, I can share some with you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other reports from council members? We'll move on to our city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Just a couple of brief things. Just to dial it up for the planning calendar discussion, we have talked about doing a fall town hall during planning calendar. I'd love to discuss when we might do that. And then this is a contract renewal year for our fire services contract, and Chief Tate has asked for any proposed changes to the contract to be sent their way by the end of August. I'll send out a couple of ideas to the council this week, just so that we can get that out to him in time, and we can discuss them more as needed. But I want to make sure we're timely on that. That's all I have.
Any questions for city manager? All right, thank you. Next is our consent agenda. These items are considered routine and are approved with one motion unless a council member requests that an item be removed for separate discussion. Are there any items council would like removed from the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, please show the consent agenda approved as presented. We do not have any public hearings tonight, and there's no unfinished business, so we're moving on to general business. First is item 12.1, adoption of ordinance 2026-692, amending the 2026 salary schedule. City Manager Pingle?
Thank you, Mayor. We also have our Human Resources Director, Jane Westman, on if I need help answering any questions. So as the council is aware, our surface water manager retired, and we've left that position open deliberately. Currently, our surface water specialist is the acting surface water manager. And tentatively, we anticipate that that's how it'll stay. And so in doing so, we are proposing that we increase our office support specialist in Public Works from 0.7 FTE or 28 hours a week to a full-time. And so in losing 1 FTE, we want to add 0.3. And so that's what we're proposing with this adjustment. So because we're not filling the empty role, surface water will have savings in the current year. And so there's no need to adjust the budget because we're not going to have additional expenditures. We're just adjusting a position that is not currently full-time to full-time. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions or comments, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, Director Westman. I guess, the main one is I appreciate your sort of stewardship of this position. Do we feel like 0.3 FTE is an adequate amount of admin sort of hours dedicated to, what we lost with the one surface water position?
What we intend is that this will be enough for with the adjustment, what the intention is, or at least what we are moving forward trying to figure out is one position enough for that role, for that program. And in doing so, we wanted to add some administrative support to that program since we took away a full position. I think that right now we anticipate that, yes, that will be sufficient. If it's not, we'll come back before you and say, no, it's not sufficient, and we'll move forward with it in a different way. But that's the way we think we'll be able to move forward at this time.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate the transparency.
Anything to add? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm in Denver, so I'm a little bit delayed here. So to add to that, Director Anderson and I have actually been emailing about what those administrative tasks might look like for our assistant to add that 0.3. That is an equivalent of 12 hours a week. So although 12 hours it's great, it's not a lot. So we have to make sure that it's scoped appropriately. The other transition that we're looking at, or at least exploring options, is the one person in swim would get some administrative help, which is going to be awesome. But then also on the inspection side, what do we need? Is there a place or an option, because we have a right-of-way stormwater inspector, so that person wears 2 hats. How do we adjust that scope to support the inspection side of the storm program? adequately. And so right now, we're not proposing changing anything, and even if we would, it would come through as a job description change, which would be through the city manager anyway. But we are exploring that option, and even the salary survey that will, or not survey, the salary ordinance and the salary schedule, that's an exhibit to the ordinance tonight. That'll come back before you as a part of the 2027 budget. And so any adjustments we might need, it would run through the budget process in the fall rather than trying to make another mid-year adjustment. And so we're still working through some of those kinks right now. But because we lost the program manager, he retired, and good for him, that we just wanted to get more administrative help sooner rather than later. And then we'll have a couple months to work through those kinks and then come back to you all in the fall with potentially a different change to the salary ordinance as you see it. So that's our intent for now.
Councilmember Wilson-Yar.
Thank you. I appreciate this flexibility, this approach that we've taken. We've taken it before with some of the other positions where we have flexed into changes, knowing that we might have to flex out of them later. Well, I do appreciate this approach. I do understand that would provide a great deal of stress to people who probably are used to doing what they're doing. So my only comment is that I hope we do not push this too far to where we might break someone. And that because this position is on the salary schedule already, and if we have to fill it in 2027, great. But I'd like to say, I appreciate this flex into it. I would just like to not see it go too far.
Yeah, I will say, and happy to, Director Westman or Director Anderson can respond additionally. I will say we've been super open and clear with the acting stormwater manager as far as the information we want out of him as well in taking on kind of the exploring, okay, does this role really need two people or is it really just one person and we need to have some other support otherwise? This role, so the stormwater program has never had any administrative support before. And so adding some to it helps with what we're taking away. But with just updates and skills and technology, we feel confident that we can move forward this way. And so getting the additional administrative support we think will be sufficient. But the acting stormwater manager is welcome to provide, and we hope that he will provide very candid feedback about what's possible and what's not.
Any other questions, comments, motions? Deputy Mayor?
I move to adopt ordinance number 2026-692, adopting the revised salary schedule as set forth in Exhibit 1 as presented.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau and seconded by Councilmember Burford to adopt ordinance number 2026-692, adopting the revised salary schedule as set forth in Exhibit 1 as presented. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Nothing more to add.
Okay, with that, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Okay. We are now on agenda item 12.2, discussion of data centers. City Manager Pingle.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, we have Director Fitzgibbons here who can help answer questions. This topic came up as a request to add to an agenda to talk about data centers with the possibility of discussing a moratorium. In looking into this further, Director Fitzgibbons made it clear that under our current code, we don't have an industrial zone generally that's where data centers would fall. And so we don't have an allowed use currently for data centers in the city of Newcastle. And so happy to discuss that further or answer any questions. But as with respect to a possible moratorium, we don't think that that's necessary, simply because if somebody came in and made application to develop a data center, they would simply be told no at this point because they're not an allowed use in the city.
Okay, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. So I wasn't the council member that originally brought this up, but I think, I do appreciate that that's currently the outlook. I think, you can talk about, I think, economic development that could come as a part of this. I think if there were to be a data center, if we were to try to make some action to allow them, I think my problem with it personally is that I don't think any of it's for the long term. I don't think long term it's a good use of land per se. There's not good sort of examples of what those sites can be used for if they're not being used for a data center. I think it seems like a lot of the economic development means come again in a short term. I don't think with our city being the size that it is, it's something I would want to try to prioritize or make any carve out for personally. I'm willing to hear arguments to the contrary, but I want to focus on, preserving open spaces and parks, creating affordable housing sites, creating, mixed-use developments, that sort of thing for our city, as opposed to something like data centers and sort of more opportunities for folks as opposed to sort of using land in this way personally, so.
Councilmember Jacobs and then Villasenor.
So I was the person that brought up the moratorium. I did speak to city manager about the topic. I somewhat agree with Paul that even though theoretically with somebody that would propose that in the city would be turned down, we're not sure what would happen in the future with the zoning laws and so on and so forth. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't be prudent to still put a moratorium on having a data center built in the city. Just a question.
Well, I think moratoriums only last for about 6 months, so it'd be more of looking at the zoning and making sure we're making those changes there. The moratorium's just not necessary. Anything to add to that?
It's just a temporary measure, supposed to give us time to make whatever adjustments we need to make, but we don't need that time. If we want to make those adjustments, we should just make those adjustments. We don't need to stop something from happening temporarily because they're already not allowed. If we need to make adjustments to what we want to allow or not allow in the future, we're not up against some time crunch that we need a moratorium.
Councilmember Villasenor?
Thank you. Yeah, and just to be clear, I don't think we're having a conversation about whether data centers are good or bad inherently. I think, data centers support technology that we're all happy to use and benefit from. But I think the big question, and that's front and center is it really an appropriate use for Newcastle? And as far as the land use goes, I think Deputy Mayor Charbonneau made the exact points that the limited amount of land that we have in Newcastle certainly would be better used to do other things, certainly. With regard to the idea of a moratorium, I know but I think what you're getting at is, can we put in some provisions to make sure that it can't happen? Now, I know we don't have anything zoned industrially, right? So there's no industrial use zone, so that helps us. It works in our favor. But the other thing is that could we actually define what a large-scale data center means from an ordinance point of view? Can we actually create a definition and then explicitly make it a prohibited use? You know what I mean? So instead of saying a moratorium on any sort of requests, why don't we just define what that is and just say they're not prohibited? They are prohibited within the city of Newcastle. I mean, I think that's more, I think it's more of a direct action on what we don't want versus making it more nebulous, right?
Similarly, when they wanted to ban marijuana dispensaries in the town, they actually specifically put a line item in the code and called it out. So there are ways to definitely identify and define what a data center is, and we could put a line item in there, and then you're not looking at a moratorium so much, you're just looking at an ordinance.
Right, if we define what that means, large-scale data center, I mean, I want to make sure that we define it very clearly so that it doesn't, so we don't have any unintended, consequences for, maybe smaller businesses and that kind of stuff who have quote-unquote data centers in their offices. But if we're talking about large-scale data centers, and we can be very clear about that definition and then just make it a prohibitive use, I think then maybe that puts it to bed.
We can do that.
We'll bring something back.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Did we give you what you need? Okay. All right, thank you. Next is our added agenda item 12.3, city manager's salary. Councilmember Jacobs, did you want to start us out?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion if I could. I move that the council approve a 0.71% market equity adjustment to the city manager's base salary in addition to his 3% satisfactory performance increase under the employee contract effective September 1st, 2026.
Did you happen to write that down?
What?
Did you write that down by
I
any
did.
chance? Oh, good. Can you pass it my way? Okay. Can you pass it down? Do I have a second?
Can I provide a friendly amendment to that?
Let me
That
just
motion,
read
or-
this first,
Okay.
and then you can make an amendment or motion for an amendment. Okay, so it's been moved by Councilmember Jacobs and seconded by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau to approve a 0.71% market equity adjustment to the city manager's base salary in addition to his 3% increase under the employee contract effective September 1st, 2026. Councilmember Blakely?
Yes, I have a friendly adjustment to that motion, would be to bump up that percentage to a 1% market equity adjustment on top of the 3%.
Okay, is there a second? Second. It's been moved by Councilmember Blakely and seconded by Councilmember Villaseñor to amend the motion on the floor to a 1% market equity adjustment to the city manager's base salary. Would you like to speak to your amendment? Because we're going to vote on that first.
Pardon?
We'll vote on that first, so if
Oh,
you'd like to
okay.
speak to your amendment.
I just feel that it is more reflective of the caliber of work that our city manager has been providing, and certainly puts him more in line with market, and just a little bit above, which I definitely think he qualifies for, particularly in light of the review, the quality of the marks that he received.
Great. Would you like to speak to your second?
Only to say that I agree with Councilmember Frost Blakely. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments to voting on this, Councilmember Griffin?
Okay, what does that mean in percentage? Is that a 4% increase? 1% added to the 3%?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay, we're going to vote on the amendment first. So the amendment is to change to 1% market equity adjustment to the city manager's base salary. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. So, so now we will go back to the original motion, which has been amended. So, the amended motion is to approve a 1% market equity adjustment to the city manager's base salary in addition to his 3% increase under the employment contract effective September 1st, 2026. Councilmember Charbonneau, or Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Sorry, I just wanted to share this because I had to do the math or it was going to kill me. The difference in those two is $664.32 per year. If anyone's a number nerd like me, sorry.
Councilmember Jacobs, would you like to speak to your original motion?
I think it's pretty obvious that the council's in favor of the work that our city manager does, and I'm happy to have that amended to 1%.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Great. All right, next on the agenda is our additional public comment period. So we will now open that public comment period. And when you come to the podium, again, please state your name and neighborhood for the record. But nobody signed up. Okay, well, then we will close the public comment period and talk about our planning calendar. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. So a couple of so far light meetings coming up. We'll have our, on September 1st, we'll have our police services update from Chief Mandela. We have an executive session planned just for some legal updates for the city council. For the September 15th meeting right now, we have a discussion scheduled to talk about our 2027 legislative priorities. And just earlier today, we heard from WashDOT that September 15th works for them to come and present, provide us an update on I-405 improvements, especially the improvements specifically affecting Newcastle or adjacent to Newcastle. So we're excited to have them. Want to give credit to Councilmember Blakely for communicating with them and asking tough questions of them that they've been responsive to and will come and talk to us about. And so that's what's coming up on the planning calendar. And then, go ahead, questions?
Councilmember Villasenor.
Thank you. I do have a question. I jotted down a note that Councilmember Burford had mentioned they have a proclamation schedule. Will we get a copy of that, and does that need to be motioned and approved?
So we will absolutely get a copy to the council. I don't think it needs to be motioned and approved because I think right now we absolutely can, but I don't think it needs to be right now. It's just kind of up to the mayor in our rules. But happy to make, we can talk about it, but we'll be sending it out to the whole council once we.
Yeah, we can give each council member a copy,
Yeah.
On the calendar every monthly. Yeah, so give you an overall.
And it was, and a big reason that, I think we've said this before, but just to reiterate, the reason why the Community Engagement Committee was looking at this was we felt like having proclamations on a calendar and able to plan for them so that we can invite people to accept those proclamations is a way to engage the community, invite them to our meetings, and just have it be a little more fun at our meetings. So that's the reason why that group was looking at it. And so we can definitely present that to the council and talk about our reasoning and all that stuff. And if there's ever any proclamations that come up, we can add if needed, but we just wanted to have a solid plan for the year. Because there are a lot of different special days and months, and it can be a lot, so we wanted to make sure we chose ones that were relevant to Newcastle.
Yeah, you all can take a look and then give us some feedback. Yeah, thank you.
If I can, Mayor. Maybe just a quick suggestion is, one of the things that we're working on currently is kind of overhauling the council rules. And maybe that needs to be a part of that discussion as far as how we want to deal with those, whether they're, so right now, it's really up to the mayor as far as what comes before the council as a proclamation, other than 2 specific ones that we've put resolutions around. And so if that's something that is a desired change, maybe that needs to be a council rules adjustment.
Okay, Councilmember Jacobs.
I'm not sure if this is a motion, but I'd like to put on the calendar, and I see the next 2 council meetings already have study session related or executive session as well. I'd like to put a study session together on the Olympus Gate. I don't know if that's a motion that needs to be seconded, but I'd like to propose a study session to review that.
So any 2 council members can add something to the planning calendar. It doesn't need a motion necessarily, it just needs a second.
A second.
Anything else? And I know you want to talk about town hall.
Town.
So I believe in September, we have an extra week between meetings. There's a fifth Tuesday in September, and so we have confirmed that the 29th is available at Risden. There's nothing else going on currently, and we looked at other days that week, but there were events happening at the school. So Tuesday, September 29th looked like a good day, but we wanted to make sure that worked for the council. So does anybody have any issues with doing our town hall on Tuesday, September 29th? Okay. So then I believe it will start at 7, doors open at 6:30.
Great.
And I have here the ideas from the Community Engagement Committee as far as how we can, what the plan would be for the town hall for, and what we talked about was having city departments each have a kind of a table around the room, and starting with opening that up to the public to go ask questions to different departments that they're interested in, give a little time for that, and then sit down. The things we're looking at presenting is a brief update on the 2 citizen committees, the Fiscal Sustainability Task Force and the Downtown Activation Committee. A brief website update, because we told everyone that it was happening, it was changing soon at the last town hall, so now we want to show them it has changed and to check it out. And then the preliminary budget will be live at that point. We don't want to spend too much time going through it, but at least having a QR code where people could go and take a look at it. And of course, if they want to ask any questions, that would be welcome, or give any feedback. And then the other thing that the Community Engagement Committee talked about was how to promote the town hall. So of course, we'll be doing social media, in the newsletter, Newcastle Days. We can have flyers or, something printed for people to take. I know the city already reaches out to all the HOAs and lets them know that it's happening. We did talk about potentially sending out a mailer like we did the last one. So we'll continue to talk with staff and help where we can. If there's any other ideas, please send those along to me. And then we would have time at the end for questions, but we also want to encourage people, we want to solicit questions beforehand for those that might not be comfortable coming to a microphone. Just give that opportunity to either send them in beforehand or have some index cards where people can write questions down, so we can read them if there's time.
We might mention that even provide the table at our city table during Newcastle days, encourage people to submit. Yeah.
Great. I think that's it. Any other planning calendar thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
Not a planning calendar thought, but just a thought for the website and our communications. The flock camera issue keeps bubbling up in our community, and it's top of the mind because we've had some demonstrations recently in the city of Renton. So I just would recommend that we look at making sure the word gets out that we have turned off the cameras in Newcastle. Perhaps that could be posted on the website, a little strip at the bottom, and then a push out so people are aware that they need not fear the cameras in Newcastle.
Councilmember.
I noticed our planning calendar, the upcoming 2 council meetings. There will be executive session, 1 study session. I noticed study session will start at 6 p.m. What about on September 1st? We're going to start at 6 p.m. as well?
We wouldn't plan on starting at 6 p.m. If the meeting remains light, we would just plan on doing an executive session at the end, especially if it's going to be a shorter one.
So we'll be at the 7th council meeting.
And then with the 15th, if we stay light, we'll just plan on making that discussion item a part of the regular meeting and start at 7 as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Well, with no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 8:03 p.m. Thank you.